Hey everyone, welcome to today's live Q&A. I'm Greg Mercer, as you know, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rolando. Rolando, what's up, man?
Hey Greg, how's it going, Freedom Builders?
All right, and do we have any, it doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat box or the comments yet. Is that right, Rolando? Everyone has all their questions
Yet.
answered, I guess. They know everything.
Hey, we did good. I went to the 10 modules. We covered all the topics.
Yeah, now modules are released, no more questions, huh? Guys, let us know what questions you have. As you know, Rolando and I are here for the next hour answering any questions that you have. Also, go ahead and drop in the chat box where you're at kind of in your journey. I know it was exciting last week. I think there were 2 people who had their products into Amazon and made their first initial sales, which is a really exciting time. If that's not you yet, don't get discouraged because there's still plenty of time. And I know we've had some hiccups along the way with the coronavirus in China, but yeah, let us know where you're at in your journey. All right, and we have a lot of people joining, but no questions yet.
Let me see if I can find any in the page itself.
Yeah, it sounds good. Hey, Kate, welcome. Douglas, live in Southern Texas. Southern Texas, I guess. Live from Austin. All right, Jacob says our first question. If I use FBA, will Amazon take care of my sales tax? I see that they charge sales tax to the consumer, but the tax amount is not credited to me. Great question. Amazon handles sales tax for the majority of the states. And actually, I'll give you a little bit more information about this real quick. So if you look inside of Seller Central and you go to tax settings, and then right here is all of the states listed that Amazon automatically collects and remits the sales tax for you. So for all of these down here, you don't have any control of this. Amazon's automatically collecting and setting in the sales tax for you. If you want, you can start charging tax in these other states that aren't selected. Man, there's not many left. This started with just a few, but now there's not many. If you want these ones that are not checked, Amazon does not collect and remit the sales tax for you. So it would be up to you to do so. Tax Nexus is a little bit of a complicated subject that we won't get into, but I will just say this, that the majority of sellers do not collect and remit sales tax in the remaining states, just because Nexus is a little bit of a gray area, but use your best judgment there. All right.
Looks like Kate, she was chiming in. She says that she's sent her first product to Amazon, waiting impatiently for it to go live. That's awesome. Congratulations,
Woohoo!
Kate.
It's an exciting time.
Absolutely.
What else do we have in there?
Susan says that she's still waiting for the sample from supplier, but that's awesome that you're working towards it, and yeah, keep hustling. And then Rob asks, is this the last coaching call? And the good thing is that it is not. We actually have 2 bonus live events that are still happening. So we're essentially you still have 2 more weeks of us.
Yep, this will be around next Tuesday as well as the following Tuesday, March 10th. After that, we may do some more for fun just at a later date, but in the meantime, we'll of course still be helping you guys out inside of the Facebook group, and we'll still be available via email.
Yeah, just always stay on the lookout. Your email, you know how we send out the notifications whenever there's a live event, so just always be on the lookout for that.
All right, and we have a bunch of people that joined, but no more questions.
You've done an excellent job, Greg, explaining everything. Very thorough.
Nothing else. They know it all. Time to go home, Rolando. Pack it up. Just kidding. We'll stick around, guys. Or just drop in the chat box. Go ahead.
Came across this question here by Sivan in the in the group itself, he says, "Hey guys, just got this message in my Amazon inbox. Hello there. I'm interested in video, photo reviewing your product on Amazon and promoting it on Instagram story with 5,000 followers. The purchase needs to be verified. My cost for the review is $25. In addition, I will need for the fee for the PayPal transfer and cost of your product. I send the order number right after transfer and review it after 4 days. I look forward to hearing back from you." And so he's asking, it seems like a validated reviewer, suspicious or legit? I guess is this question.
I didn't catch all of that, Rolando. So essentially someone messaged them like through Seller Central or whatever saying like, hey, if you pay me $25, I'll buy your product and leave a verified review. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that would be against Amazon's terms of service. That would be like an incentivized review. So that's not allowed, and I would recommend not doing that.
Well, actually, I think it's more that he was going to use his Instagram followers and just kind of promote his product through Instagram.
Gotcha. So it's not a review on Amazon. It was on his own platform. Okay. I mean, you can do that if you want. Usually with like kind of smaller influencers like that, it's pretty hit or miss. I think usually more misses as far as like if they drive additional sales. I don't know, Rolando, I know you have a little bit of experience with that. What do you think?
I'm a little hesitant of someone reaching out to me. If I want to go that route and use, some sort of influencer, then I would like to go out and seek them out myself. Because of course there's niches, there's personalities that may be more of a match to my product. So that's why it's more of not relying on the inbound request, but more try to reach out to some influencers and test it out. Some people do charge as little as $25. They will charge to use their platform to promote your product. Test it out. It's worth a shot.
Cool. Susan asked, to use Splitly, is there a fee and when should I start? Yes, there is a fee to use Splitly. If you go to Splitly, you can just click on pricing and you can view it. Most of you guys will be able to do it for $47 a month. Of course, like I mentioned in the training videos, this isn't required at all, but if you want to do so, that's how much it will cost to do. And as far as when you should start doing it, you're not able to use Splitly before your product's in on Amazon, so you at least need to wait until your product's to Amazon, and then you can start kind of split testing it. And Rob asked, how was it for you creating this course? It was fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. Something that I'm passionate about is just like working with entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs. It's like super rewarding to me to get to hear your success stories. So for me, that's really fun. And it's like, I'm kind of the type of person who gets a little bit bored doing the same thing all the time. So like, just working on my Amazon business or just working on the software stuff or whatever, like I tend to get, just like a little bit bored with it. So this was really fun for me to do something a little bit different, record this course and get to work with all of you. So it was great.
Interesting fact. This is the first of its kind, right, Greg, that you've actually created a course. You do it on YouTube quite often, but you guys are the first. So this is quite an awesome time.
Yep. All right. Benny says, when clicking the Jungle Scout extension while doing searches on Amazon search pages, the opportunity score result is not representing all similar items. Is there any tips how to do it so we can get the result on opportunity score with all the similar item products? Yes, I do have a tip for you. So let me do an example search for you guys and we'll show you. So let's just do our yard signs. And so if I understand the question correctly, what's happening is some of the products that are being shown here aren't directly related to his particular niche, right? So let's say that I'm not interested, like this is a great example right here. This thing is not related to the yard signs. So what you can do is you can hover over it, and if you go over here on the left-hand side, you can X out of it. So it's like this Easter bunny isn't. Let's see what else. That one's not. And actually what's happening here is the opportunity score is being recalculated. So if it changes enough, looks like it's not doing it here, but you can see these numbers up here are being like recalculated after the products down there change. So that's how you can go about doing it.
All right. Looks like Max has the next question. Hi guys, I ordered my competitor's product and found that they have package inserts that offer $10 gift certificates for 5-star reviews. Is there any effective way to report this seller? What is my option in this situation? I saw lots of comments on internet that the sellers report unfair seller to seller support and they did nothing.
Yeah,
now,
so
you can always,
Good.
sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, take it away.
You could always on Seller Central. There is a way to communicate with Amazon FBA, and so I would use that channel. The way that you get there is maybe I don't know if you're able to show it on screen, Greg, but I can kind of point you in that direction.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So yes, if they believe it's under the help link. If you go in the help link. I'm winging it here. And then usually like under the search help, I would type like, let's see, customer support
manipulation or
something.
something.
Yeah. And it should be, let me see if I can see it on my end here as well.
I know that one way that I know about doing it is if you go, like I just Google search Amazon report reviews abuse, and this one, like this third link down, community profile and community guidelines, you can go to notify us here, and what this one popped up where I can do customer reviews, and I can send them an email and tell them about it. Whether or not Amazon does anything, well, I mean, I think that one's pretty blatant. Like if you took a picture of that and sent it to Amazon, I think that's pretty blatant, and I think it probably will work. Exactly what they do, it's hard to know, but yeah, that's, I mean, yeah, if I was you, I'd report your competitor. Let's see. I think here's the one that Rolando was talking about. Inside Seller Central, report a violation of selling policies. Yeah, I'll just drop this link right here in the chat so you guys have it. All right. What's the next question, Rolando?
All right, let's get to it here. It looks like we've got ZR says, are you planning to provide more courses in the future? If yes, when is the next one going to be?
I don't know. It's to be determined. So yeah, I'll let you guys know either in the Facebook group or via email if we do some additional courses, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'm happy to hear you want more.
Do y'all want more courses by Greg? Drop a thumbs up if you do.
Yeah.
There's also one thing that I'll just make mention is that you'll be getting a survey very shortly, and yeah, just feel free to go in, fill it out. It's an anonymous survey. We could get all your feedback and input, and find out what we did good and what we did wrong. All right.
All right. The next one's around storage fees, right?
It says in one of your videos you stated in one of the videos that you stated that if your inventory is in Amazon longer than a year, the storage fees will increase drastically. Are the storage fees also much more for Christmas time? Are they independent? Yeah,
I'll show you right here. So here are the storage fees. So January through September, so Q1, Q2, Q3, you can see it's like 75% a cubic foot for standard or 48 cents for oversized. And they, what's that, about 4x and about 3x pricing during Q4. So yes, around Christmas time, they're much more expensive. And then the long-term storage fees, these are calculated independently of the storage fees in Q4. And let's see. So yeah, once they've been in there for more than a year, it's $6.90 per cubic foot. So these are independent of each other. So yeah, if you were standard size item in Q4 after a year, it would get expensive. It'd be like $10 a cubic foot, which is really expensive. Hopefully you don't have inventory for a year though.
One way to offset that is, we talked about this, is using one of those third-party logistic warehouses. You could have your part of your inventory shipped to, and it's going to always be much less than what Amazon charges. So that's one option down the road, just to have it at that warehouse so that you could incrementally send in supplies if you're way overstocked. Hopefully, ideally, if you followed the course, you know that you'll be more mindful of not sending too much supply at one time, and be monitoring the demand. And it looks like Jacob is up next. So he's asking. He says that he posted a question with a link, but doesn't seem to go through. So if you could check your DM, Greg.
It looks like he might have gotten it to go through, because I see it again right here. I currently have 2 listings, for which I'd like to know, will it be better to merge these 2 into one listing? Yeah, happy to take a look at them real quick. We could actually, since you post them in the group, we can look at them together. So the first listing that he sent over was this one. Again, he posted this in the group, so that's why I'm sharing it. The first one is this one right here. The second one is this one right here. So they're both toiletry bags. One is this particular fabric type, and the other one is a different type of print. And Jacobus, I actually think that the way that you did it works out well. You know, like this style of print is definitely different than this style of print. Like you can use your judgment here, because you know you could put them all in the same listing, but I actually think the way you did it is what I would recommend. So yeah, I like it.
All right. It looks like Rob's asking, what are your general thoughts on the coronavirus? Do you think it will spread even more?
What do you think, Rolando? Look into your crystal ball.
We don't know, unfortunately, right? I mean, I'm sure that now, obviously, at first it wasn't taken too seriously, but now it's being taken seriously. So I always think that the authorities are, you know, they're going to do everything in their power to try to, you know, to definitely de-escalate the situation. So, but yeah, I think that things will get better. I'm an optimist, so I always think that, you know, this is, you know, it's just unfortunate, but definitely I think it'll get contained.
Yeah, in general, I agree with that. All right, Max said, is it always a bad thing to work with a trade company? Actual suppliers are not always willing to do bundles and such, while trade companies are okay to consolidate all the products and bundle them together. No, Max, you can work with a trading company. The downside is communication is usually a little bit slower, it feels like, for me at least, and the prices tend to be a little bit higher. But if they're the only one that can find your product or make your product or bundle it together, and as long as the price still works out and you like it, then no, it's fine. You can go for it.
All right. Looks like Kate asks, when determining a price for your product, is there a best practice to price it on the high end and add sales price, or just stick with the price you want to hold on to? I think that's what's interesting. That's one thing that you talked about, is about split testing. I think when it comes to price, when you're first getting started, you're going to start on the low end, right? You want that sales velocity. And split testing your price by gradually increasing it is probably the best approach. But remember, you don't do it from day to day. You know, to get a good a good reading of what price works, you need several days, if not a week, at certain price points, and see how the sales how they're impacted as you gradually increase your price. If you use a tool like Splitly, that automates this whole process for you and just takes the entire guesswork out of it. But definitely, I think that it's always going to be on the low end at first, and then you gradually increase over time. And we actually did, just to add to that, we ran that test with the Jungle Sticks, right, Greg? Where originally they were at $18.95, I believe. We put it through Splitly, and it found that though the sales weren't as many at $18.95, at $29.95 there was still consistent sales and a great profit margin. So it just made sense to keep it at that price point. Now there might come a time where we have to lower the price because competition starts to get even more fierce. We might bring it down some. But other than that, or if we have a little excess inventory, we could bring it down a little bit in price. So there's different strategies with pricing that you could do. The key thing is to just to test, always be testing.
Cool. Douglas said, some experienced FBAers swear by the 7x profit formula. I know we talked about it before. Can you review the one or two numbers you've used to determine your acceptable price point for a product you're starting? So I think the 7x profit formula is that in order to make a profit, your retail price should be 7x your cost of goods sold. I think that's what it is. I don't use this formula. The way I do it's a little bit more, I mean, maybe that's fine for like a rough rule of thumb, but the way I do it's a little bit more kind of like exact than that. Rolando, do you remember where that spreadsheet is that we use?
Yeah, I'll drop it. I'll drop it in here.
Okay. So the way I do it is let's see, I'm trying to think which module that was in. We talk a little bit about profitability during the product research, which I think is in module 3, and then more inside of, inside of the shipping module, because that's the point where you finally get a true shipping.
Yeah, so module 5 would be where we talk about that.
Cool. So yeah, if you go back and look at that, I factor in kind of like all of the more actual costs versus just like a rule of thumb, like 7x. All right. Max says, if I want to do a floor-loaded container, should it just be a one kind of product or a whole container, or can I load it with different products? Max, you can actually load it with different products. That's fine. The only thing you have to do is just the whole container has to go to one distribution center. But other than that, yeah, you can put as many different products in there as you want. Rob said, can you split test your A+ content photos? And the answer to that is yes, you can, which reminds me, I actually started a split test for my A+ content, and I haven't went and looked at how it was doing yet. Let's take a look. This is the first time. I think it's in here. All right. So this is with Jungle Sticks. All right. There's a 95% probability that version A is better. So actually what I did with this was I split tested A+ content versus non-A+ content, but typically you do A+ content versus other A+ content. And this is interesting. This was the first time I looked at these results. So it says that the conversion rate with A+ is 9.45%. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, but 24 units sold with, 9 without. 254 for sample size. Huh. This is really fascinating. So essentially, if this is correct, it's saying that my conversion doubles using A+ content, which is pretty wild. So yeah, I'm gonna let it run a little bit longer though and get a bigger sample size, and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, this is how you do it. You just go to A+ content. You go up here, it says A/B test. Some of your ASINs may qualify for A/B testing. You click on it, and this only allows, like right here, create a new experiment. This only allows you to A/B test the A/B content. Amazon doesn't have a way for you to A/B test the normal photos and price and all that stuff. Pretty cool.
Good stuff. All right, I think we're out of questions. Any more questions?
Out of questions.
All right, looks like I'll jump back to the feed and see if there's anything I could pull up here. So it says Steven asks, hello all. During launch and beyond, does requesting a review from a seller through Amazon Seller Central request a review button and through the JS email campaign coincide with each other? Example, if I clicked request a review in Seller Central and an automatic email requesting a review was fired automatically from JS, what happens then? Do both emails get sent through, or is one of them blocked?
Both of the emails get sent through. You can think about them as like two different platforms or two different ways to request reviews. So that's, which I don't think it's a big deal to request a review from someone twice. Max has a good question. He said, I reached out to some Amazon IP accelerator firms, and they're all talking about other fees which can or cannot occur during the process. So as I understand it, it's not just the law firm plus government fee, but there are some other fees along the way. Do you know what those fees are? Yes. If you have a name that essentially like has conflicts or that they run into a problem getting the trademark for, with those particular trademarks, they might have to apply or might have to give like additional supporting evidence or go back and forth with the lawyers who work for the government a few times. If that happens, there's additional fees involved. If your trademark's clear cut and there's definitely no one else that like infringes on it, then it's unlikely to happen. But if it's something that's a little bit more complicated, then it could potentially happen. There could potentially be additional fees.
All right. Looks like Rob asks the next question. What are tariffs?
Take it away, Rolando.
So probably the simplest way is tariffs are more of like a tax that's charged to foreign government or for foreign trade importing into the United States. Now, the unfortunate thing, though, is that it isn't necessarily something that is, how should I say it? It's normally passed along. It doesn't impact your business model or your business as is, because typically what happens is in lockstep, everybody raises their prices. So the consumer ends up paying that tax. So tariffs, don't be afraid if like there's these trade wars going on with tariffs. Typically, you could price that into your product. Now, of course, for the consumer, on the consumer side, consumer end, they will experience maybe a price increase on what they've been purchasing. So it's typically on a per category basis, where tariffs might be increased, or if there is in fact a tariff. So I don't know if I summed that up. Try to sum that up as best as possible.
Yeah. Just to clarify there, like you will be responsible for paying for them. So like you do have to pay for it when your goods arrive. But what Rolando is saying is typically over time that like retailers or sellers or manufacturers will increase their price to bake that into it. But there could be a period of time like when new tariffs are introduced that like you do have reduced margins. But I think we have seen prices go up as part of the increased tariffs from China. All right. Kathy said, do you have to be brand registered to use A+ content? Yes, you do. You do not have access to A+ content without being brand registered.
All right, we're out of questions again, huh?
Answering them too fast today.
All right, let me see if I can find some more here on the feed.
Max says, Amazon often splits shipment to different warehouses and charges a fee per item if I want all of them to one. If I indicate that I'm going to do a full container, can they still split shipping? Unfortunately, Amazon splits up the shipment before you signal to Amazon how you're going to ship it into them. So the answer to this is yes. If they do that, or if you do have to send your goods into multiple warehouses, the result of that is you either have to pay that fee or you have to you either have to pay that fee, or you have to split it up and send it into the different warehouses. Sometimes people will like create multiple shipments and see if like if they try doing it a few different times, if they can get it all to go all into one warehouse. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't.
All right. Do I need to pull up some questions? Let's see if there's any.
Kelvin said,
Steven
when calculating profit, go ahead.
No, you go for it. You go for it. Those are live.
Kelvin said, when calculating profitability for our product opportunity, what's a good rule of thumb for our ROI or profit margin? Me personally, I like to shoot for, it's usually roughly a 100% ROI of COGS. So if to land a product at Amazon's warehouse costs $10, I like to make $10 in profit. That's my goal. And that typically is a profit margin of around 20 or 25%. So that's what I target.
All right. I'll ask this question that's on the feed. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess your internet must be a little faster than mine. Go for it. Go for it, Greg.
Max said, what would you recommend to minimize extra cost during the trademark process? Should I make a super long name, register domain, maybe? I think they are looking for that there aren't any conflicts. So the way you do this is like, one, check to see if anyone else has like a very similar name. They shouldn't. Check to make sure that if you like spelled it in a different way, no one has that. I'd also just check Google to see if anyone else is like calling their product the same thing. But as long as you have a very unique name that no one else is kind of using, then there shouldn't be any issues with it.
All right. Rob asks, still waiting for my goods to be made. Should be shipped out by the end of the month. I'm doing the poor man inspection. Anything I should look for specifically? I would say that when you're doing the poor man inspection, definitely every step of the way, they need to be providing you information in the form of like pictures, right? You want to see it from end to end, the manufacturing process. They will work with you and provide you updates and photos. So I would say that would be the first thing that sticks out to me when you're doing this, is just making sure throughout the whole process you're getting pictures and things to look out for in the photos. I would just say just have them take like close-ups, like different angles, and actually one other thing that I have been implementing is asking for video as well, just like from like a mobile phone, just for them to do a video of the functionality of the product, and so that way I can know that it's working properly. So those would be a couple of pointers that I have.
Kathy, I don't quite understand your question. How soon after your product arrives at Amazon do we need to contact Amazon, ask them to change from UPC? Rolando, do you know what Kathy's talking about with that one? I'm not quite following.
Change from UPC. Yeah, I don't follow either.
Kathy, if you could give some clarification what you're talking about there, we'd be happy to do our best to help you out. Change from UPC to model number. Let me ask you this, Kathy. Were you able to get a GTIN exemption? Is that why? Because you don't need to change it from a UPC to a model number. You can just keep it as a UPC for like your identifier. If you got a GTIN exemption, then you can do model number. You don't even have to do UPC, and then you don't have to worry about it. But other than that, like you can just leave it as a UPC for your GTIN.
And typically they don't allow you to change that once it's been put into place. So if you have a UPC number listed, you probably wouldn't be able to change it. But you can add a model number to your listing as well, in addition to your UPC. So you could actually have that in your listing, but or like a that would probably be all you can do.
I'm going to answer Rob's real quick and then we'll jump back to Max. He said, once you bring registry, do you still need to purchase UPC codes? Yes, unless you get a GTIN exemption. I guess these are easier to get now than what they used to be, because I hear more people kind of talking about getting them, but I personally haven't had any luck with GTIN exemptions, so I still have to purchase UPCs. Max asks, what is the insight on the coronavirus problem? It looks like it is going away day by day. Suppliers are starting to work, shipments are getting shipped, or is it actually getting worse? My kind of like boots on the ground information is factories are going back to work, shipments are starting to get shipped, but there definitely are still impacts in China. Not all factories are back up and running, or they might be at like a limited scale. So from what I'm seeing, it looks like, the factories are going back to work. And my opinion at least would be by next week, you would see that the vast majority of factories are back up and running, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've been getting hit up by my suppliers, so it looks like they're gradually opening back up, which is good news.
Rob asks, what would you say is the average sales to review ratio? Good question. If you don't send any follow-up emails or the request for review button inside of Seller Central, it's only about 2 to 3% of customers leave a review. So 2 to 3 out of every 100. If you send a follow-up email and if you do the request a review button, we've seen it greatly increase. And then you could probably expect something closer to like 6, 8, maybe 10 reviews per 100 sales. It's a lot of, I think, new sellers will expect like every customer to leave a review. That's definitely not the case. If you do the things we talk about, you could probably expect close to 10%, but 10% would be like extremely good and fairly rare.
All right, I'll jump over to the timeline and answer a couple questions here. Steven asks, hello all, just launched less than a week ago, getting some sales, 2 to 3 sales per day. Checking on Jungle Scout's Chrome extension, my product shows this message next to it. Monthly sales cannot be estimated for this product because Amazon does not rank it in a parent category. And so then, any ideas on why it is not ranking in a parent category? And is it because of the fresh launch or something else more sinister? So,
for whatever reason, there's just a few categories that Amazon doesn't give bestseller ranks. These are primarily electronic type items. Amazon typically does give bestseller ranks for all other products, but for whatever reason, some of these electronic products they don't like to give bestseller ranks for. It's not something you can control. It's kind of the way it's always been, and unfortunately, I can't help you too much more than that.
All right. Jacobus asks, will you please review what is the optimal way to use Rank Tracker in Jungle Scout?
Yeah. What I like to do is I like to track all the different keywords that my product ranks for. So we'll look at these like marshmallow sticks as an example. I like to just go in here and I like to see what the rank is of different keywords and how they're trending over time. So let's look at, for example, bonfire party decorations I'm ranking quite well for. It doesn't get a ton of search traffic. What about like this one? A misspelling of marshmallow sticks. I'm ranking in the number 4 spot, and this one's actually been getting better for this one, which is cool. So the optimal way to use it is you just get to keep an eye out on the different products and how you're ranking for them. Let's look at this one real quick. Fire pit skewers. Wow, this one's gone way up, so it's good news. You can usually correlate this to sales, which is really useful to see like how they're trending over time.
Susan asks, do you currently sell online other than Amazon? once my Amazon gets up and running after some time, I might want to try Walmart or eBay. Would you also have other training camps for these other channels? Um, Interesting to note, recently, Walmart is now doing fulfillment by Walmart. It's going to be fulfillment by the FBW.
It's breaking news, right?
Yeah, breaking news.
We don't have any other training camps for those other channels. I actually don't sell on any other channels besides Amazon, so you'll have to find kind of information for them somewhere else. Yeah, most people who I speak with get the vast majority of their sales on Amazon, like eBay or Walmart. It's a very small minority of their sales, but if you'd like to do so, then go for it.
Right. Rob asks, when doing product research, will the $3,000 monthly sales rule of thumb ever change?
I think, yeah, like we constantly are kind of like looking at the different rules of thumbs and thinking about like, okay, what constitutes like good demand now versus other times. So yeah, maybe, but I think the other thing that you'll see is like over time, once like you find a few products that you're selling on Amazon, you'll kind of come up with your own rules of thumb, because like you start to understand really well kind of how the platform works. So like you said, it is just a rule of thumb. I know people don't like answers that are, it depends. So that's where we come up with these different rule of thumbs. But typically what happens is once you start selling on Amazon, you kind of come up with your own.
All right. Max has a suggestion for us. He says, hey guys, I'm out of questions as of now, but we'll definitely have some when the videos are finished. Please, 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 if you have time, make one more Q&A stream somewhere 2 to 3 months from now, when everybody gets further in the process. And then Rob seconds, he says, yes, please.
I think we can do that. Yeah, let's remember that, Rolando. Let's jump back on here in a couple months and answer some more questions. That'd be fun.
Yeah, remember, we're here for you. We definitely want you to succeed in this. And I'm excited because of some of the positive feedback we've been getting in terms of people launching. And even with all adversity, and isn't that the way of the entrepreneur, right? Against all odds, you guys are still, moving forward and pushing, and hustling. So that's always impressive.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Any more questions in the Facebook group, Rolando?
Let's see here. Looks like, wow. We answered Jacob's question, because I see Jacob's question in here. I think we answered this last week. Why is my supplier offering a lower quote for full container load and a higher quote for less than container load? But that is, just to kind of reiterate, that's not uncommon. That's fairly normal. So it's not something to be concerned or alarmed by. Let's see if any more questions are popping up. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, all these questions we've answered, Greg. That's pretty cool. Trying to go back and see, but we're already getting into last week, which we're able to cover some of those questions.
We can stick around for a few more minutes, see if there's any other ones that pop up.
Anybody attending any events this year? If so, just drop what event you'll be at. We'll be at several throughout the year, so you might run into us in person.
Rob said he hasn't applied for a trademark yet. He's saving up some money. He's going to make a few sales first. That's perfectly fine. The benefit of trademarks is just brand registry. It's not a requirement by any means. All right. I don't see any questions left in the Facebook group, and it looks like we're out here. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap things up, Orlando, instead of just sitting here in silence.
No, it's I mean, that's good that it sounds like we've been able to address most concerns. That's always a good
Totally.
thing.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much for tuning in. It's always a blast chatting with you. Like we talked about earlier and during the live, there's still 2 more of these Q&A sessions. The next Tuesday and the following Tuesday, we'll be back here live. So we'll see you then. Thank you very much. See you, Orlando.
Take care, Freedom
Bye.
Bell.